Hello, it's Brian and Jen from the Peak Fleet. We are continuing our Value of Values during a Crisis video series. We have made our way to the I's and independence. Independence is one of my core values, but it's my core value of independence has an interesting interaction with one of Jen's core values, collaboration. So we thought because of that, we would bring both values today together. So let me start by asking you, Jen, what does collaboration mean to you, and why is it important?
Collaboration is about working together with somebody else or with a team to create something. And I'm really passionate about creating stuff every day. For me, I like collaborating because others bring a good filter to that process. Sometimes I think maybe there's just an idea that's my wacky idea, and I'm sometimes even afraid to bring it forward. But when you collaborate with someone, it automatically gives you somebody to bounce those ideas off of and also to encourage you to be more creative. And then it creates kind of an innovation cycle, right? You can go back and forth and back and forth, and as collaborators create something that's greater than the sum of its parts. So that's why I value collaboration.
Well, before we get into the discussion about the sort of the healthy tension between collaboration and independence, I want to ask you about what do you see happening right now? What do you feel happening right now during a crisis?
Right. The ability to collaborate has been significantly altered. I wouldn't say it's necessarily been reduced because I think that the opportunity is there, but I think we don't have all the skills to know how to effectively collaborate in the situation that we're in right now. We've had to, over time, adapt, figure out how we can work together digitally, via technology, social distance, quarantine, what are all those things that you can do? And it has been stressful, though, to sort of adapt and adjust right now.
Well, what do you recommend to others who are dealing with the same struggles as you are for someone, especially where collaboration is really important?
I think if you value collaboration, I think the big thing right now is it's easy to fall into the trap of feeling disconnected and being disconnected. And you have to push through and reach out and not let yourself fall trapped to the circumstances keeping you from feeding that value of collaboration that you have. So you value independence. Tell me what independence means to you.
I do, and I want to be clear that it's not that I don't think collaboration is unimportant.
He doesn't like working with me, that's what happened.
Not at all.
It's code for that.
I very much value collaboration. I think it's incredibly important. I think there's just this sense of autonomy for me, this sense of not wanting to be a burden to anybody else, but also kind of to this feeling of, I actually, when I think back over my life, I've always had this very strong sense of wanting to be independent, to be on my own, to be grown up, and to have have grown up things.
Yeah.
So it's been a part of my DNA, my wiring.
When I'm an adult, it's all going to be great. So what's happening how is your value being affected by the pandemic?
Well, we talk a lot about values being reinforced, being tested, or changes in the value. I think with independence, I see two things. I see a reinforcement and then also a bit of a test. So reinforcement, I think, for me, there's, and maybe for the introverted independence of the world, being isolated, being quarantined is actually kind of fun. It gives us a chance to prove that we can be independent, that we can persist, we can survive through anything. But also I think what's happening is it's sort of testing the value a little bit, that there can be too much of a good thing, and that and probably more so for the extroverted independence, that there's too much independence maybe isn't so good.
Right.
And I actually think in terms of what someone should do or what I should do, or anybody for whom independence is really important, is actually the same thing you said. Is more of a back off the value a little bit, collaborate more, connect more, and give yourself, lean into the fact that it's probably also a strength in terms of, in addition to a value.
Mm-hmm.
But I would say take a break maybe from being independent, so that you can enjoy it more, if that makes sense.
I think one of the other things that could be valuable for people who have a strength or a value of independence is you can be champions at this time, right? Your ability to cope is higher maybe than somebody that is really in need of collaboration. Like, how can you push through? What things are helpful to you or valuable to you could help others who are struggling with the disconnection that's happening to a certain degree.
That was unplanned, but I think that's a perfect segue into the discussion about the healthy tension between the values. So we know that this is an area where we're different,
Mm-hmm.
but I think we also believe that it's a complementary difference between us.
Yeah, I mean, I think I'll tell a little story about when we started the Peak Fleet. Like, it was all about collaboration because we were coming together, trying to see if we had something that would work together. And we were on the phone all the time. We were on video. We were in person constantly. And I remember there was this tipping point where I think you kind of asserted that, like, I need some me time. I need some time to kind of work on this stuff and then come back fresh to collaborating more. And it clicked for me, oh, this is something that you really value. I need to operate differently. I need to bundle a lot of things together that I need to talk to you about and not just constantly being like, hey, what about this? What about this? And so it was a potential source of tension because there was this, dichotomy, so to speak. But once I appreciated why it was happening, I think it actually strengthened our bond even more, if that makes sense.
Good. I feel the same way. Again, I don't want anybody to think that I don't value collaboration. I usually, always, I think, come away from our collaboration sessions energized. But you're right, and I think you're right about me kind of needing my me time to think and process. I also, as I've gotten to really understand myself better, I think it's also part of my wiring is not wanting to be a burden on others and not wanting to be a burden on you. So kind of wanting to take care of things without bothering you.
Right.
So that's part of where the tension comes into play.
Yeah. I think in conclusion, two things is, number one, there's a lot to learn about independence and how those that are strong at it and value it can be champions in this time when it's a struggle for a lot of people. And secondly, I think that values in general, a lot of the values that we show in the deck have some, opposites, right?
Yep.
And it just because there is independence and collaboration or change and tradition as these sort of seeming opposites, they can work in harmony together. There can be a collaboration, so to speak, of these things. And it's about peeling things back, peeling back the onion a little bit and seeing how that really rings true. That makes, when you take it to a family setting, take it to a business, people that are very different make the whole stronger because of the fact that you've got these opposites.
And so I think what you're saying, though, requires first an understanding of what's important to yourself, but also requires you to seek out, understand, respect, and accept the differences of others, and to not take the differences personally. It's
right.
not about you or me. It's about us.
Yeah, absolutely.
I hope you enjoyed that video. We're making our way through all 55 values in the Peak Values card deck. We're examining living with intention and within your values, especially during this time of the COVID-19 crisis. We want to hear from you, so please leave comments here on social media, on YouTube, or you can reach us at info@thepeakfleet.com. If you visit our website, you can find our Peak Values card deck under the product page and also learn about our other services. I hope you stay safe and healthy, and we'll talk to you soon.